It's January 6th, 2013, and you're watching Mods on Air.
2 FPS, 3 RPGs, and 5 sim-type games.
Yeah.
I think you'll be able to come up with one here.
I'm actually pulling this one hard.
Ask all the people that need hacks to play Call of Duty. I can hear you groaning inwardly every time Sin's mentioned. You're just cringing.
Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome to 2013 and episode 362 of Mods on Air, bringing you the week in gaming news as modders, developers, and gamers. I am foyleman, and also on the show today we have with us Ham. Hello, Ham.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. And we also have with us
that's
Stryder.
Hello,
Here's
everybody.
Stryder. There you go. Before we begin the real show, let me remind you all that the show is recorded before a live audience. You can join us. You can discuss the topics as we discuss them, and relevant links may show up in the window if we remember. But as for other links that are posted, they may lead you someplace that you do not want to go, so be very careful with that. And for those of you who haven't heard us before, there may be some explicit language or adult themes. We do not mean to offend one or
Sometimes,
two of you, just all of you.
if we fail to offend you, let us know. It could be that we just haven't got around to it yet.
That's right.
We're an equal opportunity offender show. So
on with the show, on with the offense. It's the first show of the new year, and so there's an interesting mix of topics to discuss today. Next week, I think it is CES, so we're going to see a whole bunch of stuff coming out regarding electronics. I think that's next week, is it?
I believe it is.
It's coming up really soon. CES, big electronic show where we're going to see a whole bunch of stuff that we don't need but all probably want. Well, I know I want. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
pure easy. New electronic, gotta have it.
Exactly.
Another
Yes,
worthless
yes,
piece
yes.
of shit that doesn't do what it's supposed to.
That should be the subtitle of the show. CES 2013.
Yes. Well, speaking of which, we will be getting on the topic of Windows 8 in a little while. But first of all, I think we, to bring in the new year, I just wanted to mention that there are some top game lists and stuff out there to wrap up what happened for 2012, lists which you may or may not agree with, and it really doesn't matter at this point. These are just games that should end up on the game sale list, and perhaps hasn't. But Amazon has a list out there, and their list is composed of a lot of different stuff, such as Borderlands is number 2. Borderlands 2 is second on their list. Now, this is going to be a mix of all kinds of games, consoles, PC, everything like that. Dishonored ended up at number 4. I know, well, she would be happy about that. The last one on the list, number 20, Call of Duty. They're starting to fall off.
Call it Dookie.
Yeah. Guild Wars 2, number 14.
Not bad. I've been enjoying that for like the last couple of weeks immensely.
Awesome. I don't know if that was
not-
Journey was download only. Go on. What's that?
Well, Journey is it's console only, and I think it's downloadable only. Just the collector's edition is this is going to be physical, and I'm just surprised that XCOM is number 3. It's a turn-based strategy game. That's usually
it's a little
only at home on PC.
That could explain why there's so many Kickstarters out there like that.
Uh.
Right. Well, let's talk. Let me bring up a little bit of something that I discovered this holiday that pissed me off. There was a speaking of download only. There is a game I got myself, which I don't have with me. I'm gonna go get it while I talk to you. I got myself a PS Vita for Christmas. Okay.
Oh, another
Yeah.
useless piece of shit that you're not going to eat.
Well, I wanted to play with it because here it is. Turning it on right now. I think. There it goes. I wanted to think that what I was going to do was when I took a trip this holiday, and I took a plane somewhere, and I was going to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to play this. I'm going to get some games. So I downloaded some games from the store, which, by the way, the downloads are full price. You know, you buy a little thing in this thing, or you download them, doesn't matter. It's still going to be a lot of money, like $30-40 for a game. All right. So I got 2 games. One of them came with this Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation, which I found to be really kind of boring and not a lot of fun to play. So I also tried out something called Stranger's Wrath, which is an Oddworld game. All right, that was okay. A few camera issues, but not so bad. And then I went for Need for Speed Most Wanted, an old game. But you know what? I really kind of enjoy those kind of games on this kind of device, where I'm just sitting there and driving, and the controls are really good and work well. Now, I'm on the plane. Actually, I'm in the terminal, just about to get onto the plane, and I have like 10 minutes, and I'm like, okay, let's turn this on and get it going. What's this? Origin can't connect, and therefore I can't play the game?
What?
Origin has to log you in, and you have to be online in order to launch the game. And as I understand it, this is only because I downloaded the game. So that's their security. That's their protection.
But this is a portable... This is a portable little console.
Yeah.
That's absurd.
Now I'm sure that if I try and start up Need for Speed, I am connected to my internet. Let's see what happens. And so I couldn't play the game. I just couldn't use the device because I got all these downloadable games. Well, this one anyway was Origin-based.
Just another reason to hate EA.
EA game. There you go, EA. I got to say, this is a pretty neat little device. Pretty neat console. Has a lot of... It looks beautiful. Touch screen, touch back, joysticks, which I like to have again. And this time it just logged me in right there. Play nothing. No words about Origin or anything like that. I get out of connectivity with they're connecting to the PlayStation Network from the network, and I am SOL. Cannot play.
I'd almost even understand for PlayStation or Xbox, these consoles that you have in your living room, but for something portable like that you would,
yes.
are encouraged to use outside of your home, that seems really restrictive.
Yeah. So I couldn't do anything about it. Sure, you know what? There are some workarounds I could have done to make this work, such as I could have logged into my phone, turned on the hotspot, and made it so that I could connect through my phone to get to the network, to get the game going, just to get into the game. Who knows if I have to continue to be connected to still play the game or not? Maybe it was because I had the device completely turned off and therefore completely signed out of Origin, and I had to sign back in order to prove I have the game because, you get onto the plane, what do you have to do? Shut off all your electronic devices and then turn them on again. So that's going to happen.
What happens? Can you manually turn off the Wi-Fi on that thing so it does not send or receive a signal? Like airplane mode?
Let me see. Okay, I don't know. I am still too new to this. Friends, messaging, music, settings.
And Morphus is making a great point. Like, it should at least tell you when you purchase the game or something that this game requires an internet connection in order to play or have full functionality or be accessible or something like that.
I just turned
that way it's not
Wi-Fi off.
surprised.
I turned Wi-Fi off. So yes, I guess that works. You know how the planes are. They want you to shut everything completely off.
Yeah.
Do you want to turn Wi-Fi on to use the network features while I'm in Need for Speed? And I'm going to say no. And then it says something was shut down, and I can continue to play the game. Yes, I can continue playing the game now that I turned it off. But I had to log in. At some point, I had to log into Origin. So that's the secret. The secret is to bring your electronic device on, and when they tell you to shut it off, don't actually shut it off. Just pretend it's off. And hope the plane doesn't
Just turn it
crash.
to airplane mode. Does not send or receive a signal. You don't have to turn it off. You just got to not send or receive a signal.
There's different rules of thought as far as what they're trying to get you to do, whether or not whether or not the radio waves coming from these devices actually interfere, or if what they're trying to do is make it so that you're not distracted, that in the case of an emergency, you're not just like off in la la land, that you're paying attention to what's going on. Who knows?
Because you've got so much control when you're strapped into a seat on takeoff and landing. If the plane is fucking going down, you're going down with it. Like, what are you going to do? Jump right before it hits the ground?
I know. But I'm not going to claim to know what's true and what's not true because there's too many opinions out there.
Well, here's a true fact. My favorite part of being on a plane is watching the stewardess do her little.
No, they don't even do that.
Watching the stewardess.
They don't even do that anymore.
And I hate those flights.
What do you mean?
That they don't.
Maybe in Canada they don't. But what are you talking about?
No,
They don't do that anymore. They sit there and they show you the thing and the belt buckle and the from the mask falls and
no,
every
it's
time.
well, everyone that every plane that I've been on lately has got the little TV in the back of the seat in front of you, and it's just on the TV, and it's like you're sitting there watching a movie, and all of a sudden at 6,000 decibels louder than whatever TV station you're listening to or movie you're watching, this thing comes on, and
I can't afford
you don't even
those
need
kind of flights.
headphones to listen to it because you can hear it echoing throughout the cabin from everybody else's screams of pain because their eardrums are bursting.
No, I'm affording things that are prop based or anyway. So that's the whole story.
First class, I'm cheap ass, Cobb. That's
okay. So Origin, hate it.
That's just new.
That's
before I didn't care.
For the new year.
Now I found something that pisses me off. And no Hulu on planes though. I don't know. Yes, on some planes there are. On ones that have Wi-Fi.
The ones that go to Hawaii.
I've been on a couple planes like to the west, like to Seattle. They had Wi-Fi. You could purchase it. Anyway.
And then they turn it off on demand.
During the introduction, they turn it off.
Okay. There is another game out there called Defiance is going on. Tryon World has a game called Defiance that's about to open up there to beta. It's going to be an MMO, first-person shooter. And if the video says anything, it's completely confusing. Better turn that down a little. You know what? Watching this video and watching some of the other videos that are available out there, I'm going to say that this is sort of a ripoff of the whole Crisis 3 thing, where you can like, maybe it's your suit, or maybe it has to do with some sort of injection, because they show some injection going on the back of the girl's neck before she does stuff, and then she can do special things like go into camouflage mode.
No, is this the game that's tied into a sci-fi series?
No, I don't think so. No.
No?
Maybe you're thinking of Firefly.
Nah, Trion is working on something that's tied in with the actual TV series. Oh, it is Defiance.
I don't know this TV series.
I'm not sure if it's premiered yet.
But you can check out the beta, or you can try and sign up for the beta. I don't know if it's too late or not, if they're already filled up. But they are looking to give people trials, and then you can let us know whether or not it's worth our time. It's going to be multiplayer. It's going to have co-op boss battles.
To assist your mission, you'll receive a full complement of BBI weaponry, including our very latest piece of photon hybrid technology, the Ego.
The Ego. This is what I was thinking of. That gives you the ability to do things that I don't know.
Oh, it's just kind of weird.
So this guy is talking. This is his online dating video.
And here's the injection in the neck. Yeah. This is another video showing the injection and like two of the features that you get out of it.
Register now and be among the first to experience evolutionary combat on the new frontier.
Okay. Von Bach Industries.
April.
Von Bach.
April's release?
April 2013 is when the TV series is going to be released. So I suppose
on the Sci-Fi Channel, as you mentioned.
On the Sci-Fi. Yeah. So maybe we'll see it coincide with the MMO. Which I wonder, is that going to be free or?
Do you happen to know if it's like similar to anything else? I'm looking at some of this video. I'm going to guess it's sort of like a on Earth, North America, sort of like Battlestar Galactica kind of scene, which is going to be drama more than action. And I'm not going to watch
drifting through
Battlestar Jurassic Park.
Yeah, it's a terramorphed American landscape.
Does it got dinosaurs?
Probably so, or things that look very similar to them.
They canceled that show, Terra Nova. Why would they do it again?
I guess this is an excuse to have like a melding of alien worlds with I don't know, set pieces that like the Golden Gate Bridge or something.
That's all, and it's the only thing standing.
Yeah.
Everything else is
destroyed.
Yeah, humanity's destroyed.
Sure. Like the end of Planet of the Apes.
I don't know what to think about this. Of course, I mean, once we play this beta, we'll know more about it. But these sort of media crossovers that happen like this, I'm not sure if they've ever really lived to sort of tell the tales of their glory. Nobody really remembers
like
anything.
Batman.
Well, no, Batman was fine. I'm thinking there was a show on Fox long
Family
ago.
Guy.
Yeah, look how well that game is doing. Maybe it was Fox. I believe it was Fox. It was called Bonsai or something. It tried to mimic like these crazy Japanese game shows, and there was something.
Blast!
There's something interactive about it. I forgot exactly what it was. It was some sort of interactive where you could be at home and influence the show in some way, and nobody remembers what I'm talking about, and that's the point. So we'll see.
Sounds really gimmicky.
Yeah. They also had a courtroom show too. I think it was called like Jury or something, where you could there's a courtroom case, and then you could sort of vote on the outcome of what the conclusion
Burn him again
would be. And that kind of went nowhere too, and I believe that was also a Fox series. So
exactly, it's the bad TV channel.
Yeah. So we'll see how Defiance takes off. Defiance, I know part of the gimmick here is that what happens in the game world will influence the television show and vice versa.
Mm-hmm. So in other words, they haven't hired writers.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Well, because you brought up the bad TV channel, let me jump ahead here and talk about Intel. Did you know Intel has a cable service, TV service, set-top box thing that they plan on rolling out soon? Just like Google was doing their Google TV kind of thing in Kansas, I think is where they were doing it. Now Intel's going to try their version of it, city by city.
So they can fail city by city.
As far as I know, it's going to be one of those like internet-based TV setups. And the question is whether or not you're going to get the channels that you want to watch on these set-top boxes. I think they could succeed.
It's going to be those little blue guys.
I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna. I think I think it is kind of the future. The idea that we can watch TV through the internet. The cable companies are gonna hate it, but they're gonna have to get over the fact that bandwidth is required for everything.
So in other words, bandwidth prices are gonna go up as cable companies continue to lose money.
Well, they're gonna see. Here's the odd thing that I just find it really weird about some of these service companies, where they want you to use less bandwidth, but they want you to pay more for their service. It's just so it's like phone companies, talk less but pay more, and it's the same way here. So these companies want you to take advantage of their fast internet connection and pay for it, and then they're like, "We're going to cap you, though."
I know. Something's going to have to be done.
Yeah.
And probably what's going to end up being done is some sort of federal law roll into effect where they start dictating what's going on to them, and then they start dictating to us, and everything just turns into a horrible nightmare, and we all end up on the new internet made by pirates.
The telephone giants up here are actually facing legislation because they've. I don't know what it's like in the States, but you can't get a mobile phone up here with anything less than a 3-year contract.
Oh,
that's bad.
And there is no competition between any of the companies because every package is the same. Yeah, exactly. We're being held hostage by the, Rogers, Bell, TELUS.
Weird.
Yep, and we have that here, where we only have a couple of options when it comes to TV. Two
Yeah.
options. One is satellite, and one is not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cobbs, I heard you like the threat of ASRI.
I mean, I suppose it's almost no different here in the States, where almost at this point, almost anywhere you go within the country, you've got the option of Comcast or maybe not, maybe nothing. It's just
Comcast or nothing.
Yeah,
that's
it's
Comcast or DirecTV, right? Those are your two options.
Pretty
you always
much,
have the DirecTV option. Just means you won't have internet or phone. Right. So, yeah, it's going to be. Now, I still believe that in 10 years, I mentioned that a little bit, the piracy network. All right. I believe that in 10, 15 years that we could end up with a change, and it could be led on by pirates, or it could be led on by something else. And it's something very similar to what I've seen start to happen now with GPS, where somebody is trying to roll out something where if you're having a bad GPS signal, such as in the city, somebody's trying to do this Kickstarter or some sort of program. I don't know where it is. But what they want to do is they want to set it up so that everybody participates to the GPS system. So if your neighbor out there has a GPS signal, but you have no signal, it looks at these other people and says, well, your signal is based on this, and you're located here, so triangulate, and here's your rough estimation. You don't have a real satellite connection, but you still have GPS. I think the same thing is going to start happening.
Triangulate through different people's...
Yeah.
Nice.
So I think that's a great idea, where things start to become a lot more accurate. We can turn everybody into a satellite.
Yeah, the problem with that is they're going to start looking at that and saying, all right, let's provide networks in that same fashion. And you're always going to end up with someone that is siphoning off of somebody else. And what happens is you dilute your signal strength so much, and you create so much signal noise that you can't get any reliable sort of a signal. Like, you go to malls up here and they're like, oh, well, we're offering free Wi-Fi in our mall. And like, I know down in the States, you guys, everywhere is 4G and shit like that. So you guys are all like, bam, everything's right there. Up here, there is no such thing as 4G. Yeah. But it's horrible. And you go on these Wi-Fi things and you're like, excellent signal strength, but they've got so many people siphoning that signal, you got no service whatsoever. You got to turn your Wi-Fi off so you can get some sort of internet signal when you're in a mall.
Yeah. No, you're right. Just like when we go to the conferences.
Oh yeah, excellent signal strength to the server or to the router. Right. But I mean, there's 100,000 geeks there with phones that are trying to play games and shit like that on their phones and upload video and yeah. No, internetless internet.
But now my point is, just like this GPS thing where people are all like trying to interconnect, I think the internet in 10, 15 years will become that. I think everyone will become part of this whole conglomerate that becomes the internet. You want a website, you put it on your computer, and there happens to be some sort of DNS system that allows it to be found, and everybody joined together becomes the internet. Just like the old BBS systems.
It won't be on your computer. It'll be on your Xbox.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The little networks still starting like this, little mesh nets.
Yeah. And I think that is what's going to end up taking over, because it'll take the load off of everybody. And all these big companies that are out there saying, sorry, we can't do bandwidth, we can't afford it, we can't deliver it. All right, you don't have to. Everyone else will do it.
The Ubernet.
Mm-hmm. I can see that happening once it becomes just a bit more easier to set yourself up as a node.
Yeah, there you go, a node.
Well, but I mean, that technology already exists in file sharing. Yeah. But there's such a stigmatism against file sharing that you can't, they won't allow that transition. Like the file sharing networks are actually very useful, and they're actually more powerful than the internet as far as information transfer and stuff like that. Unfortunately, there's such a stigmatism against that network, that P2P network. And I think a lot of it's to do with internet companies and service providers saying, you know what, we're not able to provide websites and content and charge people to do this because they're going around it. They found a way around it that's actually faster and better than what we're doing. They're not throttling it, blah, blah, blah. So,
yeah,
Agreed.
You're right. Well, yeah, Amorphous has an interesting idea. Torrents equals money we lost. Well, the GameStop is going to end up into some trouble here. Sony, which I can't find which article this is now, but Sony, yeah, I'm running off the cuff here.
where the hell is this?
Sony number 21. Sony wants to start restricting the idea of used game sales. So what's going to end up happening is Sony's going to put out a game and say, sorry, game can only be sold once, cannot be resold at all, which I don't have a problem with. You know what? These resale of games actually, I don't think it's very good for the developer. However, on the other hand, once you buy a game, why can't you do whatever the hell you want with it? Because then it
I can see that on consoles because you're buying something that is transferable. It's what's the difference between me taking and trading that game to somebody on a console portion here? You buy that game, you play it, I'm done with it. I'm going to give it to my uncle. All I do is give the game to my uncle, or to my brother, or to my nephew, or whatever. If it's a PC game, they lock it onto that system.
Okay, I can see that working.
I don't quite understand the non-logic here of saying you can't sell used games.
Right.
Well, I understand Sony's idea. It's because every game that they can't sell, they don't make money on. So resales, they make no money.
Stop making games that people play for a week and a half and then say, all right, this thing was not worth the money. I have to trade it in because it's a piece of shit and I don't want it collecting dust on my shelf.
Yeah, that becomes a problem.
I wonder if this is going to not work in their favor in the sense that there's some people who wait for games to come down in price. There's some people who will maybe get most of their games from their friends and things like that. And they just don't get games for their consoles otherwise. And so what happens when the person's like, you know what? Well, if I can't get that at a lower price or I can't get it from a friend, I'm just not going to buy the game. And how many people are going to sort of take that attitude and eventually just becomes where you buy less games or less games are being sold because they can't be borrowed or Redboxed or Netflixed.
I think the only way that this would work is if they went to a non-physical mode of delivering their games,
which is happening.
So that you go to a Steam for your PS4 and that's all you get. That's the only way to get games is digitally. Because if you buy them physically, go ahead, stop me from giving it to somebody else.
Yeah. Unless I don't.
Stop me from getting it on eBay and selling it when I'm done with it.
The other argument is if the resale is a problem, then maybe the price of your game is too high.
Yes.
Exactly. Well, that's just it. I mean, we've had this discussion multiple times about game publishers putting out a game, $70. Why are you charging $70 for a game that really is worth maybe $40, down to $30, down to $20? You keep jacking the price up and delivering less content. Eventually, that bubble's going to burst, and then you're going to be sitting there going, "Well, nobody's buying our games." Well, and then what can we blame it on? Let's blame it on torrents. No, blame it on the fact that you're publishing shit games and overcharging for them. End of story.
That's a good point. I wonder how would they implement this? I mean, would the games come with CD keys now, like PC games, physical PC games, or yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Well, this is for the PS4. They're saying for the next PlayStation, so
which is the upcoming PlayStation.
It's probably going to become something that's worse than what we realize, where the game will be locked to the console, and if that console dies, so does your game. In other words, you don't own it; your console owns it.
Yeah, I know there was talk. This was long ago, probably even before the PS3 came out. That there's a technology where it's not really new technology, but basically your console can also burn disk. So not only can it read disk, it can burn disk. And there's like a little section on the disk that has just a writable area, and so you put it in for the first time. It sees if that writable area has been written on, and if it is not, it'll say, okay, this is a brand new game, and I'm going to register it to this console. Write a little information on that disk. So when you take it out and try to put it in someone else's console, it's going to say, hey, this is already registered to somebody else.
It could be. They
So
do their own
the
hardware.
problem with that is that why would I need 4 controllers for my console? Because all they're doing now is saying, you know what, you're more than welcome to play this game with your friends as long as they own a copy of it and you're not in the same fucking room. Because you're not allowed to take it over to their house and play it. So they have to have a copy of the game too. So I think if they follow that train of death, it's gonna cause them no end of issues. That train of thought is just like fucking death. Yeah, exactly. Play cards.
and you can give your cards to your friend.
Yeah,
when you're done with them.
I guess we'll see how this all pans out. It's weird because it's all sort of initiated from greed. Like it really is. This is stopped becoming about the games in so many respects, and it's just become about how much money can we make.
And that is why the GameStop stock tumbled as a result of this announcement from Sony.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are expecting GameStop to be greedy.
Oh, fuck. That's GameStop's stock tumbling?
And they're betting their money
It's not
on
because it is not because of this announcement.
It's not. That's what they're saying it is. What is it? Oh,
it's
because GameStop.
GameStop.
It's a whole separate issue. Yeah, I know. GameStop is its
own worst enemy, usually.
Like me, getting games. I'm gonna sit here in my office here, and I'm gonna download games. Why should I go out to the store if they're all right here?
And then what happens? You get all pissed off because there's another stigma attached to downloading the game. I get shafted by Origin. I get shafted by Steam. I get shafted by what's Activision's thing. They've got to have one.
Yeah.
BattleNet.
Well, that's that is Activision, isn't it?
Now it is.
Uplay.
But yeah, there's Uplay. Buy a PS Vita, you'll get shafted. You go Tokyo.
Nintendo, I think for the last few portable consoles, they've had something weird where you can have only one copy of a game, but if you've got people that also have the portable console in the vicinity, you all can play just sharing one cartridge. I know they've done it for like Mario Kart at least, and I always thought that was interesting, and that seems to be the opposite direction. More things should be like that.
Got to remember, if you share a cartridge, you're with every console that cartridge has ever been in.
In some cases, that is kind of true. I mean, there could end up being viruses that get spread that way.
You don't know who's blown in that cartridge. This is just getting horrendously wrong now.
I know. Let's move on to something else. All right. Let's move on to there was this video that I noticed last week, and I couldn't download the video. I couldn't get my hands on the video. I got my hands on.
Well, thanks for bringing it up.
But Pacific Rim, go and check out this thing. This video called Pacific Rim. It's a video for what looks like it's going to be a movie or some sort of video thing. It doesn't look like it's a game. It looks like a movie or something. Anyway, when I'm watching this, I'm saying, isn't that GLaDOS? GLaDOS's voice from Portal? Yeah, that sounds exactly like it. Now I find out that the director here, Del Toro, turned around and said, hey, Valve, Gabe, do you mind if we use the same voice? Is that okay with you? They had to get permission. Good, I'm glad they did, but...
Gabe's probably like, is there donuts involved?
At the same time, watching the video made me think, oh, this movie is not great, because it's going to be all about... It's like using assets from the game for a movie or whatever this is. But it turns out that this is supposed to be part of a crossover universe. So I don't know.
It looks like a weird, like Godzilla reimagining or something, or Voltron.
Voltron?
I thought it kind of reminded me of Halo almost. with the suits that these things were wearing. Go check out the video on your free time, and it's a little weird. Warner Brothers Pictures. So yeah, it's a movie.
Oh, good. What was the last thing that Warner Brothers tried to do? Fear.
Batman?
Fear.
Oh, the series Fear.
Not the series, just the last version of it.
The last version of it, and the first version.
I like the
Did
first
the
one.
first one? No, I didn't.
I think
did
they
the first.
they were, and then it got all shitty after the first.
Well, that's because
Yeah.
they changed developers.
The second was okay, and the third just turned into like this might as well just be an arcade game.
All right. Moving on to another one. Firefly, that TV series, the one that a whole bunch of people want to see come back, but is long gone, is going to end up on as an online universe, thanks to Fox. Yes, the same ones that brings us the awesome news channel.
Thank you for saving us, Fox.
Basically, Fox said, you know what? Yeah, go ahead. It's okay. We'll let you go along and make the game, even though we really
And
don't
if it
want
becomes successful, all of a sudden Fox will be like, mine, yoink.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, I'm not sure how I feel about Firefly. I don't know if I don't like the series, just genuinely don't like it, or if I don't like it because there's so many women who are hot for that guy, whoever he is, the captain, and I don't know if I'm just jealous.
Who was in the Puppet series before that? Whatever that was called. What was that sci-fi series that had puppets in it? Oh, that would annoy me.
Team America.
Yeah. I thought Firefly was okay. I enjoyed the series.
I think I'm just probably just really jealous.
The Thunderbirds.
With the movie, and then onto that, yeah, Thunderbirds. I don't know. So, this is actually a really long video, isn't it? I don't remember. Is it for like 4 minutes long?
So far, there's no content. It's like,
I'll jump ahead.
The burning letters.
Don't know what I'm watching.
The Sands of Time. Surprised you don't like it already, Foyle. It's got capes.
That wasn't a cape. That was a trench coat, I think.
Shawl.
No one would
Looking at
ever
the
see
models.
sorts.
I'm kind of disappointed looking at these models.
Yeah, it looks like they stopped development back in 2003.
No new technology.
Yeah, look at the polygon count on that. Maybe they're making this for iOS and Android. For the Ouya, which, by the way, people just got their hands on this past week. I know my partner had one delivered to the office. I got to see the device. Didn't turn it on yet.
Yeah, I put up the developer portal just to see how easy it is to develop without the console for any of you.
I can't watch anymore. Okay.
No.
There you go.
And the soundtrack, it's like...
Yeah. I know, right?
All right.
Okay.
Thanks for that, Fox.
I love the reactions. I can't watch anymore.
Well, Garage Games, who I thought was shut down, is now doing a Kickstarter.
Oh, come on.
A Kickstarter campaign for a 3-step studio. So
this is what I don't
get. Yeah, go on.
How can Kickstarter allow this? It's a development studio that failed horribly and took a bunch of people's money with it. Mm-hmm. And now they're allowed to, please use our website to siphon more money from idiots that are going to give it to you. Like, why not apply for a federal bailout or something? Exactly. Homeless people should get on Kickstarter. New on Kickstarter, bum fights. Like, the Kickstarter seriously has to draw the line somewhere. Mm-hmm. Publicly fund Activision.
I'm gonna make a prediction. This year, Zynga will put a game on Kickstarter.
No, they won't. Because Zynga can't develop shit if they ate prunes. Zynga will buy anything. They can't develop their own shit. They're horrible.
Well, this Garage Games is going to be in trouble. I mean, we're talking about a few days in. We're 3 days in. And if a Kickstarter campaign doesn't take off within the first few days, you know it's going to have a hard time. And this one has about $499,000 to go out of its $500,000 goal.
Boy.
$500,000 they want in order to release the tools that they've already released previously and failed at doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some games released with their Torque engine, right? I think there was a game called Savage and
Sure.
Savage. That's, isn't that
Tribes?
Free? Torque?
Isn't that how Tribes started?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
You can give them all the money you want, Cobbs, and we'll heckle you. For every penny that you give gives you 1 minute of heckling on this show. So please advise us exactly how much money you've given them.
How much heckling you're due.
And how much heckling you are due.
Yes. Okay. Well.
Look, you've driven Ham into hiding.
I know. He's left. Or he left because he wants to get away from this next topic. This next topic is for Apple. Apple, there's some analysts out there saying what Apple could be doing next, which I actually kind of would not be surprised by any of this. They say Apple wants to try and, first of all, create a wristwatch. Hey, why not? You know, they got rid of that tiny little micro nano iPod that was available to make into with wristwatches, just so that it can't be a wristwatch anymore. So why not make their own wristwatch? And then they say that they want to come along and start making stuff for or similar to Google Glasses, so that they can start doing games with Google Glasses. In other words, yes, whole virtual reality kind of thing where your world is the game. I'm not surprised. Absolutely makes sense.
Until those things that are like resting on your nose go and poke into your eyes, turn into needles.
That's the first game. It's called Virtual Torture.
Yes, and then everyone in the future is nearsighted. Yeah. So I could see stuff like this happening. It's not going to happen right away. Give it a year.
Is it Windows 8 compatible?
Oh my goodness. I don't think you can swipe across that tiny little screen in your eye.
Swipe with your eye. You gotta lick your eyeball to clear the screen.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a moment. So moving on to some other hardware stuff. There is something out there called
different topics list than I do.
Then we'll go over to a game stick. Okay, this is another Kickstarter. So apparently there's this whole thing going on with phones. Yeah, we're getting away from the consoles. The big deal is what can we make? How can we turn your phone into a console? Because we just had the Ouya, or Ouija, or whatever you want to call that crazy thing, which I did not buy into. And then that's what this is. This is going to be another whole idea that where you can carry around your console. It comes with the joystick and the USB thing. So there you go. Go ahead and start playing on your your machine. I don't know. And this thing was funded, completely funded, on the second day of launch.
Wow.
Oh, another FLV.
So I'd actually never seen this before I saw it on the topics list. I would start to read the article, but I had to do stuff and the show started. So I'd like to see this.
You're interested in this. You're interested in the whole idea of making these phone games and pretending they're actual full console games.
I'm interested in low-powered devices being plugged into the TV as an alternative to a genuine console. I don't know. The idea
means the quality of game that you're going to play is degraded to the point of only playable on a phone. Like, granted, the iPhone has a lot of processing power and the Androids have a lot of processing power, but the capability of what these games are capable of, because they have to be developed for that small screen, you get shit.
Bejeweled is fine. I can play Bejeweled.
But you know what? I don't want to sit there and play Bejeweled on a 60-inch plasma. That's not why I have a 60-inch plasma.
It's a great point.
No. But you can play it on your Google Glasses.
Again. Why?
Yeah, I know.
I think
I want to play Minecraft in high def. Like, why? They're fucking 8-bit blocks.
The Wii has taught me that sometimes you don't need graphical fidelity to get something that's fun to play.
True. You shouldn't have to.
But the Wii has also taught you that it's gimmicky and gadgety. And after about the first month and a half, it sits there collecting dust because it is gimmicky and gadgety.
I'm not going to argue. That's absolutely correct.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think there could be a possibility that something like this. It has room. It has an audience, a potential audience.
Kids between 5 and 9 love it.
I'm interested to see what happens to it, whether it crashes and burns or if it somehow finds its market. I want to see how it pans out. I think that's what I'm most excited about beyond anything else, despite the quality of what the games might turn out to be. I want to see what happens. Will it be a spectacular failure?
Yeah.
I
think it's not going to be a spectacular failure. I think it's just going to be on Kickstarter. Everyone's going to give them money and then not show up again.
The Phantom
never hear
console.
from it.
Yep.
They'll move to Rhode Island.
They have 100,000 Ouya's out there and no one's playing them. Just like the first Wii's.
Oh, imagine if the Phantom console had sort of premiered on Kickstarter, if Kickstarter was around back then.
Oh, it probably already has. It's been regurgitated a couple times on Kickstarter, and more people bought into it.
Here's another device that I'm showing a picture of. This is supposed to be a case for an iPhone that slides apart, uses Bluetooth and
glue.
Also, and glue. And it turns your phone into a controller. Now all you have to do is try and steam that to your TV, which, by the way, I tried to do this weekend using something called AirPlay server, and it failed miserably. Failed. It took me 2 hours to set up and never worked.
I could have told you that.
Well, it's because of these ridiculous restrictions that iTunes puts on you. If you try and rent a movie and you accidentally put it on your iPad instead of leaving it on your computer, and then you have to watch the movie on your iPad, and you're like, well, why don't I just try and stream it to my TV using AirServer? 2 hours later, I'm watching it on my iPad.
So they just stick to that.
That's the Reader's Digest version of that rage.
I skipped the 2 pints of vodka in between.
Pints of vodka. It was a rough weekend at the Foyle House. Pints of vodka.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, Windows 8.
Yeah, we can talk about. You want to talk about Windows 8, or you want to talk about the new Xbox?
It's already there. It's already in the chat window.
It's already in the chat window. Yes. So, Windows 8 is doing as well as we expect. Apparently, they tried to run this whole new upgrade. They want you to know that the upgrade is ending soon, so hurry up. If you bought a new laptop with Windows 7 and you want to get that Windows 8 Pro for only $15, and it looks like nobody except Ham has actually taken them up on that offer, because the following topic proves that it's less popular than Vista.
Well, I misread the article. I thought they would give me $15 to upgrade.
Wait, what? I paid for this shit?
Yeah. So look at that. The blue line there is Windows 7. The red line here is Windows 8, and the yellow line is Vista. Vista goes up. Windows 8 goes down. You might have a Windows 8 laptop, but do you actually have Windows 8 installed on it? And if you do, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you do. Not to mention that these laptops, you're calling it a laptop, isn't it more of a netbook than a laptop with a touch screen? I mean, there's a whole bunch of companies out there saying that the idea of building net tops, Acer, I think, or Asus was the one saying this is a losing battle. We're not going to make any more. So buy it now or forever hold your peace. Unless they're changing the name and saying that these things with Windows Glass, Microsoft Glass, maybe that's the whole new kind of laptop, or is it a tablet, a Surface? That's it. Yeah, I don't know what they're calling it. Who knows? It could be getting
another Microsoft Orpheus.
Oh yeah, the Xbox Surface is rumored to be coming out, and it seems to be a confusing. I don't know if it's a confusing time for technology or if it's just a confusing time for Microsoft in particular.
I'm not going to say it's confusing at all. They made some bad choices. We warned them. They followed through with it. Oh well.
Yeah, I guess that's the consequence for the public.
For the public what? For the public being able to tell each other how they feel about it?
Yeah, the public sort of tells you without any doubt that we don't like this. And the executives at Microsoft say, or at least this one guy, Steve Sinofsky, says, look, you all just don't understand it yet. Once you get it, you'll love it.
Because you loved Apple.
Yeah.
We want to be Apple. Please buy our
Apple
pie.
doesn't do this. Apple doesn't do this. They're doing their own thing. It's trying to make your laptop into a tablet. No. Not just your laptop, your desktop into a tablet.
See, Ham and I had a little bit of a discussion before the show, and unfortunately, Windows 8. Ham says that he's got Windows 8 to be more enjoyable to use, at least bearable, by spending another $5 on a program that actually adds your start menu back. And it gives you back your functionality. That now you're spending however much money on this operating system that's designed for tablets. It's designed for phones, and Microsoft is trying to force this entire operating system on a movement that has already occurred 2 to 3 years ago, and they're trying to play instant catch up and force it on everybody. Unfortunately, Microsoft decided 2 to 3 years ago that they were going to anchor themselves in the business community and the PC community and the desktop community and say, this is the type of OS we're going to go for. Now someone said, you know what, Apple is making a fucking killing on this OS that they've got for their iOS. They're making a killing on it, and they got all these microtransactions, they got all this revenue stream because they're forcing everything to go through them. Let's do that. And they're looking at it and saying, all right, we can do this. Unfortunately, what they've done now is they've taken the camp of people, and it's a large chunk of Microsoft's dollars, which is their business sector that they've serviced, which is their desktops, their servers, their web hosting, and all of that, and they've isolated them. And they've told them, no, now you got to go to this, because they're not developing anything more for that. And then they've taken everybody else that was an Apple fan and hated PCs, hated Microsoft, and they've just made it easier for them to point the finger. And like Ham says, they're just feeding the trolls, because they've actually pissed off everybody with one fell swoop.
Yeah, I don't understand what, like, I part of me wonders, like, we had sort of some sort of alternative timeline if they had just sort of developed Windows 8 as a sort of a spin-off, sort of its own iOS that had some sort of compatibilities with Windows 8, but not quite supposed to be the same thing. Just like iOS. Like iOS in some ways can talk to the Mac operating system, but it's really its own thing. If they had spun Windows off to maybe just sort of did an iteration of Windows 7 and then had a new OS, I wonder, would that be more successful? Would people have just taken to that a bit better? Of course, we'll never really know the answers because that's not what they did. But it was an obvious misstep from the beginning. People said, hey, this is an obvious misstep, and they just chose to ignore it. And
has Bill Gates made too much money, and he's looking to like some sort of a business loss? I need a multi-billion-dollar business loss.
Maybe. I thought that's why he's doing charity.
Yeah,
that loss.
He was smart enough to get out of the game.
That's why he got married.
It's opposite decade at Microsoft. I'm very much interested to see how Microsoft is going to sort of spin back around, or if they're just going to sort of spiral and crash. And
they're taking this whole "we're going to release a piece of shit every second" title. They're taking it to a new extreme this time.
Too seriously.
Like, wow.
Oh my. All right. How about one more? How about we jump down to 25 there and talk about this special little town here. All right. You remember that there was some shootings recently. It was just a horrible thing in Connecticut, I think it was, right? Where some kid walked in and did some shooting of children and adults.
His mom and
people got hurt, right? His mother and himself as well. And although this is not necessarily supposed to be a direct connection to video games, they think over there in Southington, Connecticut, that video games have a big role in this whole violence thing, and what they want to do is they want to do this whole video game buyback. And seeing this thing, what I see happening is they want to take all the violent video games in the town, put them in a pile, and light them on fire and have a nice burning.
Welcome to Simpsons episode. Like, fuck. Stop pointing the finger at video games and start pointing the finger at yourself as a society. Seriously, you make guns accessible to people. You make violence commonplace on TV. You glorify it in your entire culture. It's not video games. Video games are an outlet, and actually, if you look at psychological studies, video games actually reduce violence in children because it's an outlet that's safe.
Yeah, I mean, the next time I see a video game called like "Kill Your Mother" and lots of preschool children simulator, then maybe I'll agree.
Yeah,
but like, there's no game like that.
On the other hand, if you have a mother that takes your kids out shooting, making sure that they can shoot well and understand all the guns, which is what's happening here, and then perhaps is a little bit strict and starts not parenting correctly, and
you realize that he's a little bit off the rails, you know. He was always such a quiet boy as he pulled the legs off of squirrels and.
Right.
Yep, I know. Let's blame the teachers. Let's blame the schools. Sure, because the schools should have detected this ahead of time, and they should have seen this coming. Or no, they're
blame
just
Canada. It's Canada's fault. Why did Canada send down that violent maple syrup?
That got them all hyped up.
Yeah, he was all whacked out on that Canadian maple syrup. Fuck. Yes, I play video games. I'm not violent. I know a lot of people that play video games. They're violent. I know a lot of people that are violent and don't even own a TV to play a video game.
Well, but they own guns.
They own guns. Just got out of jail. What are you doing? I'm going to buy me a gun.
Yes, how many people do you know that just get out of jail and say, I'm going to go get an Xbox?
Right.
I'm going to Disneyland on a shooting spree. Fuck.
Yeah, so it's just past the buck. That's all this is.
Yeah. Their whole argument of, it's that crazy jazz music didn't hold up.
It's driving them wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I heard this,
Beethoven.
I did think of them just burning games in the middle of the street, and I'm thinking to myself, if they can do that, then I'm going to start collecting books and start burning them next to the games, and then start.
And then you'll be a member of that new Baptist church or whatever it is.
Westboro Baptist.
Westboro Baptist, yeah. Yeesh.
And that's how we'll ring in the new year.
Yeah. So if someone tells you it's video games, you punch them and you say, that was all me.
Punch him right in the eye. That was all me.
Like that.
That's from the Flintstones, bitch.
Awesome. Okay. All right, that wraps up our hour. You guys have anything else you want to throw at these people before we head home?
Like a monkey, now's the time to throw your poo.
A day or so ago, Ubuntu, the Linux distro guys, they announced that they're making a phone operating system. It should be available in 2013, and this is not the operating system like redesign. This is
codename POS.
Of all the Linux distros, Ubuntu is my least favorite. It's too restrictive. There's too much security.
I like the installation. That's about all.
Installation. And install Fedora, Red Hat, CentOS. They're just as easy. And you have a lot more control.
But unfortunately, he now owns Windows 8. And
oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
There's no app to install Ubuntu. There's only an app. Sorry, there's only an app to install Ubuntu, not Red Hat.
So you got that, and I guess we'll see throughout the year more developments about this phone that supposedly it'll be just as powerful as the PC. You'll be able to hook up your phone to a monitor and then hook up a keyboard and mouse and use it as a PC.
Wait, what kind of PC?
I don't quite know like how powerful it'll be, but
yeah.
Like supposedly they've done such work where this will be able to be used as a PC. You can run native Linux apps. That's what they're doing here, and we'll see how that really pans out once we actually start to see more of this. So that's happening, and I guess people can maybe Google that Ubuntu Phone OS, and then this morning I got an invite to Warframe.
I know that was going to happen.
PC.
Digital Extreme's upcoming free-to-play third-person shooter, Warframe, and I spent maybe about 40 minutes playing it. The game looks just as gorgeous as the trailers that they've come out with.
Warframe.
It seems a little simplistic.
That one looks like the one where you die on your head.
Where you die on your head?
Yeah.
Is it? I know we talked about it a while back. I can't remember. Not that long ago, I guess.
Yeah, not too long ago.
I'm looking
War
through
Rocket. It's been called like a whole bunch of things.
Let me see if I can find. I think it's just warframe.com even. Let's see.
it is. It's warframe.com, and I'm trying to look for some from the previous episodes, maybe some video, which I can't find.
And
okay.
It looks cool.
And you're liking it.
The first 40 minutes or so, the UI is a little confusing. Just a slight bit. It could probably be done better. It looks cool. The action seems a little simplistic. I guess you'll have to sort of upgrade or buy your upgrades with real money. But I can't really say it's pay to win because it's a completely cooperative game. Up to 4 people, at least so far, go through these missions that are somewhat dynamically generated, or at least the levels are, and you play the role of a space alien ninja. That's as simple as I can put it. Like, you are a ninja in space that wears little uniforms that I think you are like some sort of alien race. It's kind of weird. I like the art though. That much I can say so far. So maybe I'll have something more comprehensive to say about it next week.
Okay.
No, you won't, because you'll be playing Guild Wars.
It's probably true.
Right before the show, he'll like, oh, fuck, I got to play Warframe. Because I said I'd say something comprehensive about it.
For 2 minutes, and there you go. There's my review. What else? What else you got for us? That's it? Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Okay. Then I'll wrap things up here. I want to thank our hosts for taking the time out to chat today. Thank you very much to Ham for joining us.
Oh, thank you very much.
And thank you very much, Stryder, for joining us.
It was always something to do on Sundays.
Yep, and I don't know anything about giving away a Christmas computer, so Cobbs?
Yeah, what are you talking about, Cobb?
Lay off
Competition.
the morning hooch. Yeah.
You could... What?
Who could gain the most weight?
I
don't know
think
what he's
he
talking
was...
about.
Wow. What the fuck have you been snorting, Cobbs?
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that conversation at all.
Nope.
Nice try. Oh, fuck. Damn
I
it.
thought you... There, I banned.
I didn't get her fast enough.
I banned. Didn't just kick,
Good.
I banned. Okay. Alright. That's it. Good for you. Then you won, Cobbs. Send in your before and after photos, please. That's part of the competition.
Yeah. If he sends in a picture of him in like a little Speedo, there's going to be some anger here. Some serious anger.
Mailbag at MODSonair.com. Send it in.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Cobbs the Hut.
All right. So in the spirit of wrapping up here, I finally want to thank you, the fans of MODSonair.com, and the subscribing members of MODSonline.com, because you make this show possible. And until next week, go out and play some games and have fun.
Thanks for watching this week, and come back next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern when we will broadcast another live show on Livestream. Details for this and all past episodes can be found at MODSonair.com. We welcome your feedback via email at mailbag@MODSonair.com, and please consider subscribing to MODSonline.com to support our show. The opinions expressed by individuals on this program are not necessarily the opinions of our sponsors, owners, or partners.
And if you're looking for an IT man, I think I found him.
I'm the computer man. I'm the Macintosh man with the virus scan. Moving your files all across the land. Some Photoshop filters in After Dark. Get your Microsoft Office, express your quark. Millions of colors with a VRAM chip. How about a system crash that'll make you flip? I'm the computer man. I'm saying Windows 95 is plug and play. If it's fonts you want, you gotta go to MacWave. Log right on as my personal guest. You'll have Macintosh software on your desk. Send me an email with your request. If it's hardware you want, baby, I'm the best. I'm the computer man.
Get into a computer.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh my goodness. I'm about to lose it.